How do you design one of the most advanced ERs in the country? At Parkview, we did it by focusing all our attention on you, the patient, by involving doctors and nurses in the design process, by creating quieter, more private spaces, and by leading the region in heart, stroke, and trauma care. This is not your typical emergency room. It's Parkview. In an emergency, isn't this where you'd rather be?
Parkview, your partner in health.
Briscoe, and this is Summit City Sports presentation of high school football. Tonight, the number one ranked team in Class 5A and the defending 5A state champion, the Snider Panthers, have brought their 3-0 record on the road to take on the Southside Archers, a team looking for their first win of the season. It's been a total 180 for these two teams this season. Snider rolls in 3-0. They're averaging 46 points per game offensively, giving up just 9.3 points per game. Meanwhile, scoring has been a little bit of a challenge for the Archers this year. 15.7 points per game is what they are averaging, and they're giving up 37, just a little over 37.5 points per game. Now, the stats are a little bit deceiving because the Archers can move the football. In fact, you look at the SAC standings and the statistics. Dennis Johnson Jr., he is the conference's number one passer. He's connected on 58 of 113 throws for 781 yards, but only been able to find the end zone a couple of different times, and both of those were to his number one receiver, Therese Bobo, who is the conference's number one receiver. He's got 18 catches for 322 yards and a couple of touchdowns. That includes a monster game last week in that loss to Concordia where he had 10 catches for 177 yards and a touchdown. Meanwhile, the Snider Panthers, they go at things a little bit differently. They like to keep the ball on the ground, and why not when you've got a two-headed monster like Money Woods and Christian Covington. Woods has carried the ball 63 times this year for 397 yards and 6 touchdowns. Covington, 29 carries, and this is almost an eye-popping stat, 338 yards and 7 touchdowns for Christian Covington, who, by the way, is just a sophomore, and you've got a feeling there's going to be some big-time schools knocking on his door over the next couple of years. Snider also gets it done defensively. They have 4 of the top 8 in terms of sacks in the SAC this year. Will Johnson with 4 sacks, Lawrence Johnson 3.5, Zach McDowell is 6th with 2.5, and then Austin France has 2 sacks. That is 8th best in the conference. And Snider also the best offensive team in the SAC. They rack up about 479 yards a game. They're also first in rushing, 361 plus per game. And on the flip side of that, Southside, they are the number one ranked passing team in the SAC, largely in part to Dennis Johnson Jr. They average about 260 plus through the air. And Snider, they don't throw the ball nearly as much, but when you've got a backfield like Money Wood and Christian Covington, and you throw in a guy like, oh, by the way, Mac Hippenhammer, who is going to go to Penn State, why throw the ball a lot? And when we do see him throw it, Hippenhammer will be the number one receiver for a sophomore quarterback. Michael Hoppert, he comes in on the season averaging 117 yards passing a game. He's been very accurate this year. And almost mind-boggling, 28 out of 39 is what he has completed through the air. 3 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. All 4 of those, by the way, came last week in that win over Concordia, 41-21. Snider has won 9 straight going back to that loss in October last year against eventual 4A state champ Dwenger, and they'll have that rematch coming up again in about a month. And I guess if you're Snider, one thing you don't want to be doing tonight is caught looking ahead. They've got a big game with Homestead at home next week. Homestead, of course, 3-0 on the season. They're ranked 14th in Class 6A. Snider, the road team tonight, they've got the white jerseys with the black and gold trim. The Southside Archers will be the home team. They are dressed in the green jerseys and black pants with green helmets. Mac Hippenhammer back deep to return it for Snider as the Archers won the toss and deferred to the second half. So we'll get our first look at Mac Hippenhammer here early. As Armand Green will kick it away for the Archers. There was a threat of rain throughout the week all across Northeast Indiana, but our friends at Wayne TV tell us that it should hold off for high school football tonight, and we'll just deal with some warm, humid conditions. 82 degrees with some clouds here at kickoff as the Archers get ready to put it into play. Again, Hippenhammer back deep to return it for the Snider Panthers as we get underway here on Friday Night Football on Summit City Sports, and they're not going to give him a chance. It's a squib kick. It is going to be bobbled and then eventually picked up and returned out across the 35-yard line. And on the return for the Panthers, that was Demarius Ridley. He's a 5'11 senior. And we'll get our first look at this potent Snider offense tonight as quarterback Michael Hoppert will lead him onto the field. And they're going to line Hippenhammer up in the slot to the near side. Over to the near side is Michael Lido. He's just a freshman. Here's a handoff, right side. That's Covington. Gets a couple of blocks, and he'll dance his way out across the 40 to about the 42-yard line. Looks like where they're going to mark it. We'll see a lot of that tonight with the Snider Panthers. That'll be a gain of 9 for Christian Covington on his first carry of the night. Hopper will work out of the shotgun. Again, Hippenhammer will go in motion. He'll get the handoff from Hopper. Looks to get around the left side. Got a block. He's got the first down out across midfield and finally driven out of bounds, and it'll be a Snider first down. Gain of 11 for Mac Hippenhammer. Hurry up offense for Snider. Again, same set. Hippenhammer to the slot to the near side. And the fake handoff to Covington. Hoppert's going to keep it, and he's going to fall forward. And talk about making a little something out of nothing. The fumbled handoff. Hopper dropped it again, but still able to pick up about 3 yards, and it'll be second down and 7. Hoppert again out of the gun. He's got Covington behind him. Fakes the handoff. It's a slant to Hippenhammer. He's got it across the 40, the 35, and finally driven down inside the 35-yard line. And that'll be another first down for the Snider Panthers. Again, no huddle offense out of the Panthers. This time Hippenhammer's moved over to the left side as Hopper tries to draw the Archer defense off sides. 28 to play here in the opening quarter. Hopper takes the snap, looks to throw. He comes deep down the right sideline for Hippenhammer. He's got it, and he dropped it down inside the end zone, and it'll be an incomplete pass. And boy, it looked like Mac Hippenhammer had a really good chance to haul that one in. Instead, it'll be second down now and 10 for the Snider Panthers. Hippenhammer going to come back to the slot on the right side. Covington still the lone setback behind his junior quarterback, Michael Hoppert. Hoppert to work out of the gun. Handoff goes to Covington. Left side, got a block. He's got the first down, still on his feet, driving the pile forward. And he's going to make it inside the 20-yard line. And that's going to be a big run for Christian Covington. The third first down on this drive for Snider. And that'll be a pickup of 15. Now a little wildcat action as Hippenhammer is going to line up at quarterback. Covington will be flanked to his right. High snap, Hippenhammer going to tuck it and run up the middle, and he'll spin inside the 10 and knock down about the 8 or 9 yard line. It's going to be just shy of a Snider first down. Call it an 8-yard gain for Hippenhammer. And now Hoppert back in at quarterback with Covington lined up behind him. Here's the fake handoff. Now Hoppert's going to, or that's Hippenhammer rather, has got the football, and he's going to dance his way down to the goal line, and he's going to be stopped just shy. So they went back to the Wildcat, and Hippenhammer is going to get it down to about the 1 yard line. So another 8-yard run for Hippenhammer. And he'll stay in there at Wildcat. First and goal from the 1 for the Snider Panthers. Covington behind him will take the handoff, and Covington is going to be hit and stopped just short of the goal line, and a flag is going to come in. We'll wait and see what this is all about. It's going to be holding against Snider, so that's going to push the Panthers back 5. That's the first penalty of the night against either team. So that's going to push them back. Now it'll be first and goal from back near the 11-yard line. Mark it just across the 10. Official will put it down just inside the 11. And that makes things a little bit more interesting for the Panthers here on this opening drive with 9:02 to play. Hippenhammer back in there at the Wildcat. Receivers wide to the left and right. Hippenhammer is going to keep the football, try to get around the left side, and Southside does a really nice job of snooping that out, and it'll be a 9-yard loss for Mac Hippenhammer. So a good job defensively by the Southside defense, as that play never really looked like it got off the ground for Snider. Quantre Brown in on the stop for the Archers. So now Hoppert's back in at quarterback. They're going to go with a 2 tight end set. Will the Panthers. Covington the lone setback. Hoppert to throw. Rolls out to the near side. Got a receiver. It's complete. And his knee went down and hit the ground just inside the 10-yard line. Did Jordan Gorman. That's his first catch of the night. And it'll be third down and goal now for Snider from the Southside 9-yard line. Hippenhammer, after a quick break, is back into the ball game for the Panthers, and I'd say a good bet he might be the target here for Hoppert. Hoppert sets up to throw. Got some time. Now chased out of the pocket. Going to tuck it and run inside the 10 to the 5, and he is going to be knocked down inside the 5. And that'll bring up fourth and goal now for the Panthers. And it looks like the field goal unit is going to come on now for Snider. So in a way, if you're Southside, you almost have to consider that a small victory. Paul Boosman on to try and give Snider the lead. The holder is Andrew McCready. And before they can get the snap away, we've got a penalty marker down. And that's going to be procedure against the Panthers. And that's going to make the field goal just that much more difficult. Boosman, 5'11", 145-pound senior kicker. Again, it'll be McCready to hold. This will be from 25 yards out. Snap is good, hold is good, and the kick is up, and it's good by plenty. So Paul Boosman comes on and nails a 25-yard field goal, and Snider grabs an early 3-0 lead. But I tell you what, if you're Southside, you've got to feel like that was a little bit of a small victory, the way Snider just marched down the field. And although you were assisted with a penalty, you got the big stop on Hippenhammer, and then were able to make a couple of other plays and keep Snider out of the end zone. And now you're only down a field goal as you're going to get the football for the first time tonight. That comes at the 6:46 mark here in the first quarter. So here in a moment, we'll get our first look of the night at the SAC's top quarterback, and Dennis Johnson Jr., who, we'll talk about it in a minute, is a 3-year starter for the Archers. So Boosman will kick it off as soon as he gets the ball from the official. There's one thing, if you're like Snider, one thing you don't want to do is give a team like Southside a lot of confidence early. And at least defensively, Archer's got to be feeling pretty good about themselves right at this moment. So Boosman is going to kick it away. Bobo back deep to return it for the Archers, but it's going to sail into the end zone, and that'll be a touchback. And we'll now get our first look at Dennis Johnson Jr. for the Southside Archers. 58 out of 113 through the air this season for 781 yards, a couple of touchdowns. He has thrown 5 interceptions, so that's something to keep an eye on tonight as he takes on this potent Snider defense that only gives up a little less than 10 points a ball game. Now we'll go with 4 wide receivers, 2 to the near side, 2 to the far side. Johnson will work out of the shotgun, and they'll go on the ground on their first play from scrimmage, and that play is going to go absolutely nowhere. Johnson in on the stop for the Panthers. Now Bobo is going to shift. He'll be up top of your screen on the far side of the field. Second down and 11 for Southside. Johnson will work out of the shotgun. He's got 3 receivers to the near side of the field. Takes the snap, looks to throw. Looks over to the near side, and the pass is going to be caught. It's going to be for a very short gain as Quantes Book will make the catch. He's a 5'6", 140-pound senior. So that'll be a 5-yard pickup on the pass play. And the Archers now look at a 3rd down and 6 from their own 24. Markalen Hairston, the lone setback. Here's a pass complete over to the right side of the field. That's going to be Eldridge Wells. And that'll make a much more manageable 3rd down situation, or check that 4th down situation now for the Archers. Oh, they're going to give them the 1st down. I was looking at the yard marker. That will be a 1st down for the Archers. Now Johnson will look at that wristband. Relay it onto his teammates. Has to hurry because of the play clock. Now it takes the snap over to the right side. It's complete. And up making the grab was Amarian Green. And that's going to be good for a short gain for the Archers, but it's going to bring up a 2nd down and about 5. Johnson again will work out of the gun. Takes the snap. This time he's going to unload down the right sideline. A little bit of hand fighting going on over there between Bobo and the defensive back for Snider. That was Taj Starks. And the pass is going to fall incomplete. It'll be 3rd down and 5 from the Southside 35-yard line. So Johnson, again, will work out of the gun. We see that a lot. Snider's showing blitz. And Johnson, I think, is changing up the play just a little bit. Creeping up on that corner for Snider is Tristan Wells. Here's a pass. It's incomplete. That was intended for Armarian Green, and it'll be now 4th down and 5. And let's see what Southside decides to do. It looks like they're going to punt it away. So not a great first drive by the Archers, but they do show some promise against this very stubborn Snider defense. Hippenhammer will go back deep to receive it along with Terrence Smith. Ready to kick it away for Southside. It's going to be Britt Ford. And before they can snap it, we've got whistles. And it's going to be procedure against Southside, I believe. So that'll back them up 5. And Britt Ford will again try to punt it away. Ford, a 5'9", 164-pound sophomore, gets it away. Left-footed kick is going to come down and tackled immediately. And not much of a return that time for Terrence Smith. And again, a nice solid play, this time by the Archers special teams. So we talked about Southside at the top of the broadcast was going to have to do the little things to try to stay in this football game. And so far, through nearly 8 minutes of this first quarter, they've been able to do that. And they're only down 3-0, but we still have a long way to go. But you get good play off your special teams like that, and you can limit a team like Snider, who has such playmakers, from making big plays. It just gives you a chance to stay in the game that much longer and make something happen. Covington will be the lone setback behind Hopper. Hippenhammer's up to the top of your screen. Covington's going to get the handoff, dances through traffic, and he's going to work his way out close to midfield. That'll be a pickup of about 5 for Christian Covington. Unofficially, 3 carries now for 29 yards for the sophomore running back. Yet to see Money Wood tonight. Christian Covington's gotten all the work here in the opening quarter. Now they're going to switch Hippenhammer over in the slot to the near side of the field. Line up out here with him is Jordan Gorman. Hopper will take the snap again. Handoff goes to Covington. He'll dance his way behind a couple of blockers across midfield, across the 45, and taken down at about the 42-yard line. That'll be another first down for Snider, their 4th of the night. Again, Hopper will work out of the gun. Hippenhammer again in the slot to the near side. It's Gordon out wide to the right. Here's Hopper. He's going to tuck it and run. He'll dance behind his big offensive line and get up close to the 30-yard line. And that's going to be enough for a Snider first down, a pickup of 12. Again, that no huddle for Snider. They're moving the ball now. That was their 5th first down here in the first quarter, down to 2:40 to play. They lead Southside 3-0. Hopper will take the snap, drops to throw, looking over to the left side, going deep. We've got markers down as the pass falls incomplete. Intended for intended for Jordan Gorman down that left side. Nice coverage by Southside's Omar Jackson. But it's going to be procedure against Snider, and that'll push him back 5. Second penalty against the Panthers tonight. And that'll bring up a first and I believe 15. Now Hippenhammer, he's going to be the lone wide receiver down at the bottom of your screen. Pretty good assignment now for Keyshawn Williams of Southside. They'll keep it on the ground. That's Covington. Runs over a couple of defenders. Still on his feet across the 20 and all the way down close to the 15-yard line. And that's going to be a 19-yard run for Christian Covington and another Snider first down. Tell you what, there's going to be some D1 schools just banging on this kid's door over the next couple of years. Hoppert again will work out of the gun. Gordon and Hippenhammer to the near side. Ball's on the ground, picked up by Hoppert, and he's not going to be able to do much with it. You know, after a fumble like that, you just kind of feel fortunate to get it back and regroup now and see what you can do on second down. So Hopper to lose 2 on it. And it'll bring up a second down and a long 11. Hopper again will work out of the gun. Hippenhammer wide over to the left side. They'll keep it on the ground, though, with Covington. He'll cut it back to the inside and inside the 10-yard line, down close to the 5. Actually, they're going to mark it inside the 5, closer to the 3. So Covington doing all kinds of damage on the ground here early. They'll again go out of the shotgun. Gordon will be wide to the left. They'll put Hippenhammer back in the slot to the near side. Here's a handoff again. It's Covington, and not a lot happening there. And he's going to get down to about the 1. Snider knocking on the door. It'll be second and goal from the 2 as we're under a minute to play here in the opening quarter. Keep an eye on Hippenhammer. He's going to be at the bottom of your screen as he comes out wide to the near side. Now Hoppert, for the first time tonight, is going to work under center with a fullback behind him. The handoff goes to Covington, and he reaches for the goal line. Is he in? No signal yet. Now it is a touchdown. Comes at the 35-second mark of the first quarter. Covington with a 2-yard run. Now Boozer is going to be on to attempt the extra point. Boostman. McCready again will be the holder. Boostman trying to make it a 10-0 ball game in favor of Snider here late in the first quarter. Low snap. McCready did a nice job to get it down, and Boostman puts it between the uprights. And with 35 seconds to play here in the opening quarter, Snider's out to a 10-0 lead. The number 1 ranked team in Class 5A. And looking ahead to next week, we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, Snider will have a big home game with Homestead. They are ranked 14th in this week's AP 6A poll. Meanwhile, Southside, they'll be back home for a winnable game next week as they'll take on the Wayne Generals here at Archer Field. Nobody's really thinking about that right now. Southside still has to really consider themselves in this ball game, only down 10-0 here late in the first quarter. But this is a team in Snider that you got to maybe try to make something happen on this drive and try to eat a little bit of clock up while you're doing it, because your best defense against a team like Snider might be a really good ball control offense on a night like this. Force that Panther defense maybe to stay on the field a little bit longer than they would like to. Boostman will kick it away. Bobo back deep to return it for Southside, along with A.J. King. As Boostman gets ready to put his foot into it, his first kick all the way through the back of the end zone. This one's not going to make it that far. Bobo's going to take it at his own 6. Across the 10, he'll dance his way out across the 20, still on his feet, dances through traffic out to the 30-yard line in good field position to start this drive for the Southside Archers. And Bobo, a 24-yard return, and that almost looked effortless. Now let's see if the Archers try to make him a little bit more a part of the offense here on their second possession of the night. Completed passes to Book and Wells on the Archers' first possession of the night. And now Dennis Johnson Jr., as usual, will go out of the shotgun with 4 wide receivers, 2 to each side. They'll keep it on the ground and dancing through traffic. And a nice run for Markalen Hairston. That'll be a gain of about 7 and bring up a 2nd down and 3. Again out of the gun. Hairston takes the fake handoff. They try to throw it over the middle, and the pass was deflected. It was intended for Quatrice Brook. And that'll bring up a 3rd down and 3 now for the Archers as we come to the end of the first quarter. On a hot, humid night here at Archer Field. Again, we heard all week that it was going to be a wet, stormy, rainy Friday night, but it's actually turned out to be a rather pleasant evening. I'm sure a little more humid than what the kids down on the field would like to see, but it is a gorgeous night to take in a high school football game. And the top-ranked Panthers out of Class 5A, they lead the 4A Southside Archers 10-0 after the first quarter. When play resumes, it'll be 3rd down and 3 for Southside. And we'll flip into the field. But a very manageable 3rd down and 3 for Southside. Of course, there's another big game tonight. A lot of people talking about Dwenger. They're at Homestead tonight. Of course, if you're a Snider fan, that Dwenger game in early October, that has to be one you kind of got circled on the schedule. They were the last team to knock off the Panthers. And then after that, that started that remarkable run to the 5A state title a year ago, including that unforgettable game against New Palestine down at Lucas Oil Stadium. So here we go. Start the second quarter. Johnson out of the shotgun on 3rd and 3. They fake the handoff to Hairston. Johnson's going to keep the football. He's got the first down as he's going to get it out to close to the 45-yard line. That'll be a gain of 7 for Dennis Johnson Jr. on his first carry of the night. And that'll move the sticks. 3rd first down for Southside. And they, too, will go without a huddle. Keep an eye on Therese Bobo. He'll be down at the bottom of your screen, and now we're going to have an official's timeout. And I think it looks like somebody may be having a little equipment problem. Looks like Nathan Kimball is going to have to come off and have his helmet tended to. And a quick substitution is going to check into the ball game for Southside. That's going to be Quadrius Hill, 6'1", 240-pound sophomore. So 1st and 10 for the Archers as they wind the clock. Hairston will line up to Johnson's left as Johnson looks to throw, comes over the middle, and the pass is incomplete. That time intended for A.J. King. So Johnson officially 2 out of 5 through the air here in this first half for 10 yards. And yet to connect with Bobo, who had 10 catches last week against Concordia. Or against Dwenger, excuse me. Here's Johnson, takes the snap, fakes the handoff to Hairston, tries to go over the middle, and it's intercepted. Snider's got it, running back the other way. That's Brandon Cox with the interception, and that's what we talked about. Southside could not afford to happen was turnovers, and Cox just ripped that one out of the air. 6th interception of the season for Dennis Johnson Jr., and really good field position for Snider as they'll take over at the Southside 39-yard line with 11:24 to play here in the first half, already leading 10-0. Michael Lito, the wide receiver, the freshman, will come out far to the near side. He's out here with Ippenhammer. One wide receiver to the right side of the field. Handoff, or nope. Hopper's going to keep it inside the 35 and all the way down just across the 30. In fact, they're going to mark it right at the 30. So a 9-yard run for Hopper. And it'll be 2nd down and 1 for Snider. Hopper to throw. He finds Hippenhammer out in the left flat. Hippenhammer makes one defender miss. He's got the first down as he's going to step out of bounds just shy of the 25-yard line, but we've got flags on the field. And it's going to be a hold against Snider. That'll be the 3rd penalty against the Panthers tonight. And now it'll bring up a 2nd down and 11. As that'll push the football all the way back to about the 38-yard line. 10:50 to play here in the first half. Archer's doing what they can to hang in with the top-ranked team in Class 5A. Snider leads at 10-0. Hopper again will work out of the gun. Handoff Covington. And he is going to be grabbed and tackled from behind. There to make the stop, Jacob Torres. That was a nice tackle by Torres to catch him kind of falling to the ground from behind. It'll be 3rd down and 5 now for the Panthers. Under 10.5 to play here in the first half. 10-0 Snider. Hopper relays the play from the sideline. Lito, the lone wide receiver, out to the near side. Handoff goes to Covington. He looks for a block on the right side. Now cuts it back upfield. And he's going to get it inside the 25 to about the 23-yard line. I think the thing I'm most impressed about with Christian Covington is his patience once he gets the ball. He doesn't try to force things to happen. He just kind of waits for his blockers, which sometimes for a sophomore is not the easiest thing to do. Anyway, he's got the first down. That is the 7th first down of this first half for Snider. Hippenhammer back over to the near side of the field with Lito. Again, they'll work it on the ground, up the middle. And churning his way for a short gain will be Covington. That'll be a gain of about 6. They'll officially give him 5 and call it a 2nd and 5. They'll mark it at the 18-yard line, so into the red zone go the Snider Panthers. Hopper again out of the shotgun. We've seen it all but one play tonight. Again, they'll hand off. This is straight up the middle. Down close to the 10-yard line is Covington, and another Snider first down. Again, Torres in on the stop for Southside. So they'll spot it just outside the 10, so conceivably Snider could pick up a first down. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 11. Hopper again takes the snap, and again they'll keep it on the ground. And Covington's got it inside the 10, down to about, we'll see where they're going to mark it. Looks like at about the 7 or 8 yard line. That'll bring up a 2nd down and 7 for the Panthers, who, despite going no huddle, are very patient with their offense and chewing up a lot of clock in what little time they've actually had the football. And illegal procedure going to be called against Snider, as we did have a change in the backfield, but 17 not listed on the roster. So 17, we'll check and see who that is for you coming up here in a minute. He lines up behind Hopper. He'll get the call, looks to dance around his blocker, is going to be stood up and then taken down just across the 10. And there on the stop for the Archers was Marcellus Hairston. Malik Wilson is number 17. Now we're going to have an official's timeout. So now that we've got that cleared up, still no Money Wood tonight. .748, that's what we have left here in the first half. Snider leads at 10-0, but the Panthers knocking on the door again. We'll go out of the shotgun with Hopper. He's got Williams behind him. Hopper rolls out to his right, looks to the back of the end zone. Hip and hammers over there in the corner, but he overshot him. And that'll bring up a 4th down and 8. Hopper now 1 out of 3 for 15 yards in this one. They'll mark it back down at the 9. It'll be 4th and 8. And back on to attempt another field goal is going to be Paul Boozman. Again, McCready will be the holder. Bryson Holt will snap it. The snap is good, kick is good. And at the 7:31 mark, the second field goal from Boozman has given Snider a 13-0 lead here at Southside. That comes at the 7:31 mark here in the second quarter. And it's now 13-0 Panthers. Of course, hard to believe this time next Friday night, we'll be approaching the midway point of the high school football season once we get to halftime next week. That's almost inconceivable. Of course, the NFL starting this week. Some scores. Dwangers leading Homestead in the first quarter, 7-0. Concordia has a 7-0 lead on Bishop Lures. Carroll has doubled up Northwood in the second quarter, 14-7. South Bend Adams leading Heritage 14-0. That game also in the second quarter. Boozman gets set to kick it off now for Snider. Bobo again back deep to return it for Southside along with A.J. King. This time it'll be King. Nope, it won't. It'll bounce into the end zone, and it'll be another touchback by Boozman. I tell you what, from what we've seen out of this kid, he may have a future kicking at the next level. So now let's see what the Southside offense can muster here. 7:31 to play here in the first half. They're still in it. 13-0. They trail 5A number 1 Snider. And a lot of people were talking that, this game may be over in the first quarter. But Southside, they're just one big play away from being right back in this ball game still here in the first half. They'll come with 3 wide receivers to the near side. Bobo will be down at the bottom of your screen. He's Dennis Johnson Jr.'s favorite target. They'll throw the little bubble screen, and it's going to be complete. That was Book on the catch. So a gain of 3 will make it 2nd down and 7 now for the Archers. Hairston the lone setback. He'll be flanked to the right of Dennis Johnson Jr. Bobo down at the bottom of your screen. He's going to be covered again by Taj Starks, and Starks has done a really nice job on Bobo so far tonight. Here's Johnson, sets up, throws over to the far side, and it's incomplete, intended for Quatiz Book. And that'll bring up a 3rd down and 7. And that's the danger you get into when you're like Southside and you like to throw the ball a lot. If you come up empty, you don't eat very much of the clock and end up giving the opponent back the football with very little time off the clock. Now Johnson looks like he's going to change the play as he looks at the wristband. Now he'll relay it to his teammates. Out of the shotgun, looks to throw. Bobo comes down the near sideline, covered by Taj Starks. He makes the catch, but he's out of bounds. And that'll bring up 4th down now. It was a nice toss and catch from Johnson to Bobo, but Bobo was a couple of steps out of bounds. And nice coverage again that time by Taj Starks. And now the Archers are going to have to boot it away once again. And Burt Ford again on to handle the kicking duties for Southside. Hippenhammer back deep to return it for Snider. Demarius Ridley back there as well. So Burt Ford will try to flip the field position. It's a low snap, picks it up off the bounce, and he'll get away a short kick over to the far side of the field, and Ridley is just going to let it roll out of bounds. And it'll go out of bounds at about the Southside 49-yard line. So again, Snider will start a drive inside Archer territory. This time with 6:36 to play here in the first half, they lead at 13-0. Again, next week, Panthers will be back home to take on Homestead. Southside back home again next week as they will entertain the Wayne Generals, who picked up a surprising first win of the season last week. So on come the Panthers as they break the huddle on the sideline. Williams will stay in at running back. And now Hippenhammer's in at quarterback, and again they'll work out of the Wildcat. Hippenhammer with Williams behind him. Takes the snap. Handoff, stretch handoff to Williams. He'll cut it back to the inside. Got a block. He's inside the 35-yard line and all the way down to about the 32. That'll be a 27-yard pickup for Malik Williams. Check that, Wilson. We don't have him on the roster. So Wilson. Hey, got the first letter right. That's bonus. So it's Malik Wilson. Again, the Panthers will run out of the Wildcat. 2 wide receivers to the far side of the field as Hippenhammer takes the snap. Again, the handoff goes to Wilson, and he's across the 25 down to about the 23-yard line. Under 6 minutes to play here in the first half. Snider with a 13-0 lead over the Southside Archers. But I'll tell you what, though, they have made the Southside defense have to work tonight. And it seems they've had the ball for a majority of the first half. Here's Hippenhammer again, hands off to Malik Wilson. And he's inside the 20, knocked down at about the 19. That'll be good for a gain of about 4. And it'll bring up a 2nd down now for the Panthers. Snider's almost went through their offense kind of methodically tonight, not in a real big hurry. Just using that clock as their friend. Hippenhammer again stays in there at quarterback on 1st and 10 from the 19. Again, the handoff to Malik Wilson. He looks to bounce it to the outside, and he is going to be chased out of bounds just inside the 15, and they'll mark him out at about the 12. Okay, another update. Cameron Trotter is wearing number 17. That happens. So you go back about 6 plays, just substitute the name Cameron Trotter. And now we're going to have a timeout. So it's Cameron Trotter wearing number 17. Of course, not listed on the roster, so that's why there was a little bit of confusion. But now we've got that all straightened out. And Cameron Trotter is the running back that's getting some snaps here in the second quarter for Snider. Panthers lead it 13-0. We've got just over 5 minutes to play here in the first half. For Snider trying to remain unbeaten here this season. Meanwhile, the Archers are looking for their first win. And defensively, Southside has played pretty well tonight. Offensively, though, they have just not been able to get it cranked up, with the exception of a couple plays on their opening drive against a very talented Snider defense. But I tell you what, you've got to give the offensive line for Southside a lot of credit. 4 of the top 8 pass rushers in the SAC are wearing white jerseys tonight. Will Johnson with 4 sacks coming into the game. Lawrence Johnson had 3.5, 2.5 for Zach McDowell, and 2 for Austin France. And really nobody has gotten close to laying a finger on Dennis Johnson Jr. tonight. So a nice job by that Archer front line, because that is a very talented defensive front for Snider. Here's Hippenhammer, rolls out. Now he's going to throw, and it's incomplete. So Hippenhammer's pass intended for Gordon falls incomplete, and it'll be 3rd down and 3 now for the Panthers. So Hippenhammer will stay in there at quarterback. He's got Malik Cameron behind him. I'll go with a pair of wide receivers out to the far side of the field. Handoff, left side, looking for the end zone. Not going to make it. Knocked down just inside the 5 is Cameron. But that will be enough for a first down and give the Panthers a 1st and goal at the 3-yard line. So Snider will go for it. 1st and goal from the 3-yard line. And it's going to be Cameron, left side, and he's in for the touchdown. And it's now 19-0 Snider with 4:30 to play here in the first half. So Trotter gets his first touchdown of the night. Comes at the 4:30 mark here in the second quarter. And now on to try and tack on the extra point will be Boostman. Again, McCready will be the holder. There's the snap. It's good, and the kick is pure right down the middle. And with 4:30 to play here in the first half, Snider has now extended their lead to 20-0 over Southside. And if you're the Archers now, I think it's imperative that you make sure this is the worst the score can possibly be going into the locker room. You've got to find some way to put some kind of drive together here to sustain it going into the locker room because you will get the ball back to start the second half. Of course, they won the toss back at the opening kickoff and deferred to the second half. So basically they could get a 2-for-1 possession-wise here if they can make something positive happen offensively. Again, it's going to be Bobo and A.J. King back deep to return it for the Archers, but 2 of Boostman's 3 kickoffs tonight have gone through the back of the end zone. So Boostman will line it up at the 40-yard line. And it's been a predominantly air attack for Southside tonight. We've seen very little of Markaylin Hairston. So Boostman ready. Bobo and King back deep to return it for Southside. It'll come down to Bobo at the 1. He's going to bring it out to the 10, to the 15, still on his feet, and he'll be taken down out at the 20-yard line. So that's where Southside is going to start this drive, 1st and 10 with 4:25 to play. So let's see what Dennis Johnson Jr.'s got up his sleeve here on this drive for Southside with 4:25 to play. The senior quarterback sees his team trailing 20-0. He's going to come with 3 wide receivers bunched up down at the bottom of the screen. Bobo at the very bottom, right down the 20-yard line marker. Here's a handoff, left side, and out close to the 30-yard line, and that's near first down yardage. On the drive, or on the run, was Thomas Davis. First time we've seen him carry the ball tonight. Davis, a 5'7", 142-pound junior, so not a very big guy, but if that carry was any indication, a very hard runner. Now Johnson, change up the play as again he looks at that wristband. Now they're going to keep it on the ground. Again, running it left side and diving across the 30 to about the 32-yard line to pick up the first down is Thomas Davis. And that's a good thing for Southside because that will allow the clock to continue to run and continue the drive for the Archers. Again, Johnson will work out of that shotgun with 3 receivers to the near side. Bobo will be down at the bottom of your screen. He's been shut out so far here in this first half. Here's Johnson. He looks deep down the right side. He's got a man out there, but he overshot him. Pass intended for Amari and Green. And that'll bring up a 2nd down and 10. Johnson just a little too much air under that one. And that'll bring it back now for a 2nd down and 10 from the Archers' own 32-yard line. Again, Johnson will work out of the shotgun with 3 receivers to the near side, a lone wide out to the short side of the field. Davis again in there at running back. And Davis will get the handoff. He looks to get it around the right side, looking for a block up to the 40, and he was hit hard and dropped right at the 40-yard line, and Davis is not getting up. And boy, you hope that he's okay. Thomas Davis took a shot right at the 40-yard line at the end of that run. And good news is the helmet's off, as the Southside training staff was out there in a hurry to take a look at Thomas Davis, who the run came up just shy of the first down marker. So when play resumes, Southside will have it 3rd down and 1 from their own 41-yard line, but that seems secondary right now as Thomas Davis is down on the field, and now I believe they've got him rolled over, which that's a good sign, but he did take a big-time hit right at the end of that run. And they're going to continue to tend to him. And it looks like they might be looking. It's kind of hard to tell exactly what they're looking at from here. Southside players down to a knee. Snider players have gone over to their sideline. It's still the training staff working on Thomas Davis. Now they've got him to a seated position. And I'm not sure, but they may be going through the concussion protocol right about now. And now they're going to help Davis to his feet. And he's going to get a big ovation from the Southside crowd. And he does appear to maybe be just a little woozy as he's going to walk over to the bench, and they'll tend to him further over there. Hairston is checked back in at running back now for the Archers. And right now, just looking down there at the Southside bench, it looks like Hairston's going through a lot of questions from the training staff, which would a lot of times indicate that possibly could be concussed. So 3:07 to play here in the first half. 20-0 Snider as play resumes. It's 3rd down and 1 for the Archers as Hairston is checked back in at running back. They'll bring a man in motion to the near side. Hairston will get the handoff. He's got the first down, keeps those legs churning, and he's going to get it across the 45 all the way up close to the 48-yard line, and that'll move the sticks for the Southside Archers. It looks like temper's starting to flare just a little bit at the end of that play, and now the officials trying to separate some players, and boy, Bobo is not happy. Therese Bobo is not happy with somebody as he had to be pushed back. And now they've got everybody separated, and Snider's going to call a timeout. Not sure what instigated that, but they got everything cleaned up, and doesn't appear to be any flags on the field, so good job by the officials to step in the middle of whatever was about to happen right there. Still, it's 20-0 Snider. We're under 3 minutes to play here in the first half. Archers will have it out of the timeout, 1st and 10 at their own 48-yard line. And this is basically when they got the ball with about 4.5 minutes to go is what we said they needed to do, was have a drive that ate some clock and see if they could get some kind of positive end at the conclusion. And then come back out and get the ball to start the second half. You get a score here at the end of the half and only go in down, say, 20-6 or 20-7, and you're getting the ball to start the third quarter. That puts a totally different outlook on what can happen in the second half. But they'll go to work with 2:54 to play here in the first half. 1st and 10 at their own 48. Johnson will bring a man in motion. That's King. Ball is dropped. And now Johnson had to chase it back, and he is just going to be chased out of bounds all the way back at the 30-yard line. And that'll be an 18-yard loss. And boy, that's exactly what Southside couldn't really afford to happen right there. Now they're going to look at a 2nd down and 28. And now we're going to have a reset in the play clock. Let's see what the Archers dial up on 2nd down. Officially, they'll call it 27. Kalen Hairston back in there at running back. Bobo down to the bottom of your screen as they'll bring King in motion to the near side. Here's Johnson, steps up in the pocket, lets it go, and it's incomplete, in and out of the hands of Bobo, and nearly picked off by Snider's Ethan Hoover. So that'll bring up now a 3rd down and 27. And all of a sudden, the Archers aren't eating up a whole lot of that clock as they were early in this drive. Second time tonight, we've seen Johnson put just a little bit too much air under the ball and come up incomplete. Again, it'll be Bobo and King out to the near side. Twin wide receivers out to the far side of the field as well. Here's Johnson to throw. Heavy rush. It's a screen to Hairston. And Southside sniffed it out, but Hairston got away, and he's going to dance all the way up to around the 40-yard line. So give Hairston a little bit of credit for making something out of nothing, but that's still going to bring up fourth down and right around 20 for Southside as the clock continues to run. Officially, they'll call it 4th and 18, and they'll have to punt it away. Well, it looks like they're going to go for it. Nope, now they're going to bring Burt Ford on to kick it away. Hip and Hammer back deep to return it. Low snap, and it's going to be a short kick that'll come down at about the 45, and took a big-time Snider roll before Southside was able to down it at about the 46-yard line. It looked like Larry Rutherford was able to down it for the Archers. So Snider's going to get a chance to put some more points on the board before halftime, which with the playmakers that they have, 53 yards in a minute 46, that could be an eternity. Well, the Panthers will break the huddle over on the far side. Officially, they mark it at the 48-yard line with a minute 46 to play here before the first half ends. Hip and Hammer will be in the slot to the bottom side of your screen. He's out there with Michael Lido, and it's a screen to Covington, and it's going to go for a very short gain, if anything, as Covington will get back to the line of scrimmage, maybe a gain of a half a yard. It'll still be 2nd down and 10. Clock continues to run, a minute 24 and counting before halftime. Here's the snap. Hopper steps up, throws deep down the right side, and it's incomplete. Pass was intended out there for Jordan Gorman, and that'll bring up a 3rd down and 10 now for Snider. Looks like both quarterbacks have really struggled with their timing, especially on deep routes tonight. So now Hopper will keep them at the line of scrimmage. 3rd down and 10 from their own 48 with a minute 12 to play. Hopper again takes the snap, drops to throw. This time he's going to force it over the middle, and it's complete. And a gang tackle by Southside as Hairston's in on it. Also getting up out of the pile for the Archers was Andre Wright. And now we're going to have a clock stoppage. That's going to be an official's timeout. And they're going to bring out the sticks for a measurement, I believe. So here comes the chain gang. And this is going to be really, really close. They needed to get to the 42-yard line to pick up the 1st down. And the ball is right there. They'll stretch out the sticks, and they've got it by the nose of the football with a minute 4 to play here in the first half. So still a chance for Snider to put some more points on the board before the end of the first half. They lead it 20-0. Hopper again will work out of the shotgun. Takes the snap, drops to throw. Got some time, goes deep down the right side. He's got a man out there, and it's just off the fingertips. Pass was intended for Gorman. And a nice effort by Jordan Gorman. He just came up short. So now it'll be 2nd down and 10, and I believe Snider's going to take a timeout. Oh, it's an injury timeout. Oh, okay. Got a player down in the end zone, and I didn't see that. And it's another Southside player. So that's the 2nd time here in the final 3 or 4 minutes that the training staff from Southside has had to go out on the field, and this time it's not good. It's Bobo that was a little slow to get up, but he appears to be okay as he's going to run back off the field. And Bobo, I believe, is going to have to come out for at least a play. As he was providing some pretty good coverage against Gordon on that last pass play. He did have an interception and that loss last week to Dwanger. So it'll be 2nd down and 10 for Snider with 52 seconds left to go here in the first half. I think this last 3 or 4 minutes has taken about as long as the entire first half took to that point. So Leto, the only wide receiver out to the short side of the field. Hippenhammer and Gordon to the far side. Hopper will work out of the gun. He'll roll out to the right side. Now it's a handoff as they'll run it back the other way with Covington. And he is going to be taken down just across the 40 at about the 39-yard line. They say he didn't get out of bounds, so the clock will continue to run. And now Snider's going to take a timeout. So 40 seconds still to play here in the first half. Snider hanging on to a 20-0 lead, trying to tack on some bonus points here at the end of the half. But again, it's been a pretty good stand by the Southside defense, as the Archers have made some big plays defensively throughout this first half, as they've limited this high-power Snider offense to just 2 touchdowns and a couple of field goals. My coach is trying to tell them, just hang on for a couple more plays and we'll come back out and see what we can do with the second half when we get the ball back. But I think at this point, for Southside to allow Snider to reach the end zone from this far out with 40 seconds to go, that'd have to be very disheartening going into the locker room. So Hopper will work out of the gun. He's got Hippenhammer in the slot to the near side. Got some time. Throws over to the left side, and it's incomplete. And actually did take the papers right out of the coach's hand for Southside. Took the play sheet right out of his hand. That run 4 seconds off the clock. It'll be 4th down and 6 for Snider. And it looks like they are going to go for it. So Hopper again will work out of the gun. This time they moved Hippenhammer over to the right side in the slot, and now Southside wants a timeout. So timeout on the field with 36 seconds to play here in the first half. Snider with that 20-0 lead, and the Panthers will go for it out of the timeout on 4th and 6 from the Southside 38-yard line. Now, if you're Southside and you come up with a stop here, you would have enough time to maybe take a couple shots downfield and see if you could get some, I don't want to call them cheap points at the end of the half, but that's basically what they would be. And it could be one of those low risk, high reward situations for Southside if they could come up with a stop right here on 4th down and 6. Well, Snider's back out on the field. Now the official is going to break up the timeout huddle for the Archers. And now we're ready to get back to action. Hopper will work out of the shotgun. Again, Hippenhammer in the slot to the far side. Lito to the near side. Here's Hopper to throw. Got lots of time over to the left side, and it's caught by the freshman Lito. No, they say he was bobbling it as he went out of bounds, and Southside's going to get it back on downs with 30 seconds to play, and that's going to give Dennis Johnson maybe a chance to take a couple shots downfield here before the half. But boy, how good must you be to be a freshman and you're getting any kind of varsity minutes with a team like Snider? I think the kid's going to have a very bright future. So Johnson talks it over with his coach over there on the sideline. And now we'll bring the play to the huddle and onto the line of scrimmage with 30 seconds to play here before halftime. Still 20-0 Snider. Johnson will work out of the gun. And they'll play it conservative as Johnson's going to keep the football across the 35, or 45 rather, and ran out of bounds out near midfield. So that took 6 seconds, down to 24 seconds on the clock. And, you know, if anything now, if you're Southside and you trust Dennis Johnson's arm, you've kind of put yourself in a position where he might be able to take a couple big shots downfield now. But you got to keep in mind, too, that is a pretty potent pass rush coming from the Snider side. They'll go with 4 wide receivers, 2 to the near side, 2 to the far side. Johnson will take the snap, loads up. Now he's going to come deep down the right side for Bobo, and it's knocked away at the very last second on a great play by Taj Starks. And Starks has had a really good game against Bobo tonight. Pass was underthrown just a bit. He puts a little bit more of a lead on that and gives Bobo maybe a chance to run underneath it. It could have been 6. But instead, it'll be 2nd down and 10 with 17 seconds left here in the first half. Hairston, the lone running back. They'll bring a man in motion to the near side. Johnson drops back to pass, and now he's just going to let it go incomplete. With 13 seconds left, it'll be 3rd down and 10. Probably a smart play by Johnson. He saw absolutely nothing in front of him that was opening up. Last thing you want to do there is take a hit and possibly give up the football and maybe 6 in the final 13 seconds of the half. So it'll be 3rd down and 10. Let's see what Southside dials up this time. Johnson will take the snap. He's buying some time. Now chased out of the pocket. Heavy rush. He'll let it go down the field, and it's going to be intercepted and then dropped by Taj Starks. And I tell you what, he had it, and he was hit in midair, and it'll go down as an incompletion. But Taj Starks has had himself a pretty good ball game here in the first half. He looked like a center fielder coming in to pick off a baseball that time. So it'll be 4th down and 10, and for Southside, you really have, I mean, go for it. There's really no consequence here. I'll go with Bobo to the near side. Pair of wide receivers to the far side, twin backs in the backfield. Johnson chased out, trying to buy some time. Heavy rush, still driving. Now he's just going to throw it away, and that'll end the first half. And a flag has just come in on the far sideline, and I'm not sure what that's all about. We'll have to wait and clean this up before halftime. It's kind of a late flag, too. And if that's going to be against Snider, that could possibly give Southside yet another play here at the end of the half. But still no indication as to what the flag is going to be for. If it is intentional grounding, that'll be the half. The official's still discussing it, but it looked like Johnson was way out of the pocket. They are going to call intentional grounding against Southside. And is that actually going to give Snider another play? They will get the ball, and they'll send the field goal unit on. So they'll put the ball down at about the 28-yard line, and that means Paul Boosman is going to come on and try to tack on a 38-yard field goal here with no time on the clock to end the first half. That was a very strange chain of events. So it'll be a 38-yard attempt for Boosman. Or check that, a 43-yard attempt for Boosman. And before he can get the kick away, we've got another flag. And just for curiosity's sake, the kick was good. I tell you what, I have done a ton of high school football games. I don't know if I've ever seen the last 3 minutes last as long as this has tonight. So it was offsides against the Archers, and now they'll move it forward. And that'll make it a 38-yard attempt now for Boosman. Trying for his third field goal here in the first half. McGrady again the holder. Snap is good, hold down, kick on the way, a line drive kick, and it's no good. And just double checking, but I think that will finally end the first half. Here at the break, Southside, they're hanging in there. Archers trailed 5A number 1 Snider 20-0. We're going to take a short break here in the booth, and we'll come back and we'll get you second half action in just a few on Summit City Sports. We get ready to start the second half here at Southside with Snider up 20-0 as the Panthers lead the Archers. They were able to get on the board first in the first quarter at the 6:46 mark. Boosman, a 25-yard field goal, gave the Panthers a 3-0 lead. A 2-yard touchdown run by Covington at the 1:55 mark of the first quarter increased Snider's lead to 10-0 after Boosman added the extra point. Boosman would then kick a field goal to make it 13-0. That was at the 7:31 mark. And then Cameron Trotter took it into the end zone. Boosman added the kick with 4:30 to play in the first half. And Snider has that 20-0 lead. Southside will get the football to start the third quarter after deferring to start the game. And we were just talking in the press box there during halftime that last 4 minutes of that first half seemed like an eternity. So we'll see what we've got in store here in the second half as the sun is set and turned out to be a really pleasant evening for high school football here on the south side of the Summit City. And thank you for joining us tonight as the top-ranked Snider Panthers trying to remain unbeaten at 4-0. Or improved to 4-0, rather. Meanwhile, Southside still looking for their first win of the year. And talking with the Snider coaches at halftime, a little concerned that maybe the offense last week and so far this week isn't clicking. But I guess if you want to have some bumps in the road, this is the time of the year to do it. Got Homestead next week. And you've got Wayne and a tough matchup with Northrop at home the week after that. Then you wrap up the season with Dwanger and Lures. So now's the time to get the ship righted. before you get into that eye of the hurricane come October. Of course, Dwenger, the last team to beat Snider. Since then, the Panthers have run off 9 in a row. That includes that 2015 state championship win over New Pal. Boozman set to put his foot into it, and he does. And again, it is going to bounce out the back of the end zone, but there is a flag on the kickoff, and somebody a little too anxious to get this second half underway, and now they'll push it back to the 35, and Paul Boozman will do it all over again. And this should give either Bobo or King a chance to return it. And previously, King was over to the left and Bobo to the right. Now they've switched, as just about all of Boozman's kickoffs have gone off to his right. So we may get a chance to see Bobo return a kick here for the Southside Archers. Boozman gets his foot into it. Bobo will let it bounce, and it'll go into the end zone. And still, the same result from Boozman. A touchback as the football will come out to the 20-yard line. And Dennis Johnson Jr. will again bring that Southside offense out onto the field. And we did have a chance to look at a replay at the end of that run when Thomas Davis laid motionless on the field. It was not a helmet-to-helmet hit, but it was a shoulder pad to helmet hit. And we have not seen Davis return to the lineup. In fact, I was looking, I didn't even see him standing on the sideline any longer for Southside. So hopefully he's going to be okay. And as we thought, he was going through the concussion protocol earlier. And Johnson's pass is batted down at the line of scrimmage. It'll bring up a 2nd down and 10. That took a whole 3 seconds off the clock. But Southside really getting themselves in a position where they're going to have to throw the football here in this second half, especially if they get any further behind. Hairston, the lone setback back there with Johnson. They'll send King in motion to the far side of the field. That leaves Bobo down at the bottom of your screen all alone. And Johnson's going to keep the football, and the Snider defensive front going to have none of that, as he is going to be swarmed under. And looked like leading the way that time for Snider. Well, I'm not sure. That is a very big defensive front, though, for the Panthers. Hairston again, the lone setback. It'll be 2nd down and 13. Here's Johnson to throw, and it's complete to Bobo. And it's going to be a short gain, but it's also going to bring up 4th down for the Archers. So that'll bring Burt Ford back on to punt it away again. Back deep to receive. I'll be Hippenhammer and Demarius Ridley. Hippenhammer will be down to the near side of your screen as he'll stand right about the 50-yard line. Ford will get the kick away, and Ridley will let it bounce, and it'll take a Southside bounce and come to rest at about the 39-yard line. So that's where the Panthers will take over 1st and 10 with 10:35 to play here in the third quarter. Of course, they've got that big matchup next week. It'll be a home game with Homestead. Spartans ranked 14th this week in Class 3A as they come into the night unbeaten at 3-0. Southside will be back home a week from tonight as they'll host the Wayne Generals. Here's Hopper. He'll work out of the shotgun, takes the snap. Handoff comes to Covington. Left side, and he runs into a wall and was taken down. And they're on the stop. Jermaine Freeman for Southside. Short gain for Covington. It'll bring up 2nd down and 9. And now flags are going to fly again. And it's going to be another procedure call against Snider. So that'll cost the Panthers 5 and set them back to a 2nd down and 14. And hasn't been the sharpest offensive performance tonight by the Panthers. A number of penalties. And they've had trouble just getting that high-octane offense rolling tonight. Hopper will take the snap, fakes the handoff, sets up to throw. He goes deep down the right side. Got a receiver out there, and it's a touchdown. Hip and hammer from 42 yards out. And the Panthers now lead it 26-0. Well, Hip and Hammer had been quiet tonight up until that point. And he's now got a 42-yard touchdown pass to his credit. That's his 4th touchdown of the season. His 2nd receiving touchdown. That'll bring Boostman back to try and add the extra point. And it's blocked. So with 9:54 to play, it's now 26-0 Snider after Hopper hooks up with Hip and Hammer for a 42-yard touchdown strike. And they do that just as we talk about the Snider offense not looking as sharp as it has in previous weeks. Well, maybe they just dialed it right back in. They now lead at 26-0. That was a 2-play drive, marred by a 5-yard penalty. So now it'll be King and Bobo going back deep to receive it once again for Southside, as Boostman again will kick it away for the Snider Panthers. Had a chance to see those state championship rings that Snider was awarded after last year's win over New Pal. Up here in the press box tonight, pretty impressive. Of course, it would appear that 5A is open when you start talking about teams in the northern part of the state. Westfield down just north of Indianapolis having another stellar season. Mishawaka over around Elkhart. With the two teams that finished 1 and 2 last year, that's how they're ranked into the 4th week of the season in Class 5A. Snider's number 1. New Pal, who were the hard luck runner-ups last year, they are ranked 2nd. Here's Boostman's kick, and it's going to come down right at the goal line to Bobo, but he was in the end zone, so another touchback, and it'll come back out to the 20-yard line. So things getting increasingly tougher for Southside here tonight. They were down 20-0 at halftime. Snider's run 2 plays here in the second half to extend it to 26-0. And the pressure now starting to mount on that Archer offense to try and get something rolling. As with the exception of their first drive tonight, they've pretty much been held in check by this Snider defense, who only gives up 9.3 points a game. Here's Johnson back up out of the shotgun. He's got Hairston flanked to his right. Takes the snap. He's going to throw it out into the flat. And it's incomplete, intended for Amari and Green. It'll be 2nd and 10 now for the Archers. Things don't go well. Sometimes you have a tendency to start to press just a little bit. And we may be seeing Dennis Johnson start to try and make things happen maybe just a little bit too hard instead of just letting them happen. Now he's going to shift Hairston over to his left side. He'll take the snap, drops to throw, comes out, hit his slot receiver. That was Quantez Book with the catch. That'll be a gain of 7 and bring up a 3rd down and 3. For Book, his 2nd catch of the night. Again, Johnson will work out of the shotgun. Clock continuing to run, 9:23 counting here in the 3rd quarter. 26-0 Snider with the lead. As Johnson will take the snap out of the gun. This time looks over to his left, and it's complete. And that's going to be Amarian Green with the catch. And that'll be good enough for a Southside first down. So back-to-back completions for Dennis Johnson. One come the right side to Book, then he goes to the left side of the field to Amari Green. Now Green's going to come out of the game, and A.J. King is going to check back in. First and 10 Archers. They have it at their own 35-yard line with 8:44 to play, third quarter. Snider with a 26-0 lead. Here's Johnson to throw again. Now he's going to try to run with it. He's got a little room over on that far side, and he's going to turn nothing into a gain of about 5. So that'll bring up a second down now for the Archers. We'll see where they officially spot it. Looks like it's going to be a gain of 4. Call it 2nd and 6. 3 wide receivers to the near side. Bobo down near the bottom of your screen. He has been shut out so far tonight. Johnson thought he got the Snider defense to move, but no flags. Play clock down to 8. He'll take the snap, unloads. Now he's going to come over to the near side. It's complete. That's Book again, and it's going to go for very short gain, maybe a yard or 2. In there to wrap him up and bring him down was Tristan Wells. So that'll bring up a 3rd down and 4. Johnson again will work out of the gun. 3rd and 4 as we go under 8 minutes here in the third quarter. They're trying to be patient. Let that play clock run down just a little bit. Just now down to 10. Johnson will take the snap. Fakes over to the right side, now being chased. Looking for a block. Johnson still on the run. Now he's going to circle, come back around to the near side. He's going to unload it over toward the middle, and it's caught by Hairston, and that is going to be close to a first down. What a job by Dennis Johnson Jr. to have the wherewithal, and then Hairston to find a way to get himself open, and the Southside Archers pick up the first down, and that might be our play of the night. So it'll be first down Southside. They'll mark it at their own 45-yard line. Johnson will take the snap, rolls, now on the ground, and he'll just have to fall on it. And that'll bring up a 2nd down and long now for the Archers. Checking into the ball game now for Southside is going to be Davian Drawn. 5'11", 165-pound wide receiver, and I believe that's the first time we've seen him tonight. Hairston, the lone running back. This time they'll shift him over to the left side of Dennis Johnson. Therese Bobo down near the bottom of your screen. Here comes the handoff to Hairston. Gets a block around the right side, still on his feet, dances through traffic, and he is out to midfield. And the Archers get a little something going offensively now. They'll mark him down right at the 50-yard line, and that'll bring up a 3rd down and 5 now for Southside. Markalen Hairston after that last run. Here's Johnson again out of the gun. Fakes the handoff to Hairston. Comes back over for Bobo, and the pass just a little bit too tall for Therese Bobo to go up and grab. That'll bring up 4th down and 5 now for the Archers. We're down to 6:25 to play here in the third quarter. And it's kind of been the story for Southside tonight. They get 2 or 3 positive plays and then just see a drive stall out. Hairston again, the lone running back. Bobo, the wide receiver, all by himself to the short side of the field. They've got Twins to the big side. Here's a pass over to Bobo, and that is going to be right at the sticks. Bobo caught it on the seat of his pants, and they'll give him the first down. And that is the first catch of the night for Therese Bobo. But it's a good one. It goes for 5 yards and a Archer first down. So they have now ventured into Snider territory for the first time in a while. Clock continues to run. 6:06 to play here in the third quarter. Johnson again will work out of the shotgun. Harrison again flanked to his right. They'll fake the handoff. Johnson keeps the football. He'll dive across the 40 down to about the 38-yard line. That'll be a gain of 7, and it'll bring up a 2nd down and 3 now for the Archers, who are currently enjoying by far their best drive of the night. In large part, you go back a few plays to that scramble that Johnson had to do on 4th down before finally finding Harrison right at the sticks to pick up a first down. 2nd down and 4. Here's a handoff to Harrison. Tries to run behind his blocker. Now bounces it out to the right side. He's got the first down as he's across the 30 down to about the 29-yard line. And the Southside offense showing some signs of life on this drive. They're officially going to mark that at the 28. And another first down for the Archers as they'll wind the clock again. We're at 5:08 to play here in the third quarter. Archers trying to find some points for the first time tonight. Johnson takes the snap, fakes the handoff over the middle. It's incomplete and almost picked off. It was off the fingertips of A.J. King and then nearly intercepted by Demarius Ridley. So now it'll be 2nd down and 10 for the Archers, as Amarian Green is back into the lineup and A.J. King will come to the sideline. They'll bunch 3 wide receivers to the big side of the field. Therese Bobo with that 1 catch tonight. He's down at the bottom of your screen. Johnson takes the snap, looks left side of the field, and the pass is incomplete, but a flag is going to come in, and that's going to be pass interference against Snider. And that was a short pass attempt, but it's going to turn out to be a 15-yard penalty. So that's going to go from the 28-yard line, and that's going to put the Archers in the red zone as they should take it all the way up. It's kind of hard to read those markers from here, but it looks like all the way up to about the 13 or 14-yard line. I know there's a 15-yard line there somewhere. Here's Johnson, takes the snap. Got some time. Now he's going to roll out to the near side. Under pressure, lets it go toward the end zone. It's deflected away and caught. Touchdown, Southside. What a catch from Davion Drawn. And there's a flag on the field. Let's wait and see what that's all about. But what a catch nonetheless from Davion Vaughn. Now the officials are going to have to talk about it some more. I tell you what, Dennis Johnson is good about buying himself some extra time and improvising as he's scrambling around. Well, one thing's for sure, this must not be a clear-cut case for the official that threw the flag. As they continue to discuss, if the touchdown stands, That would be the first points of the night for Southside. And it's going to be an illegal man downfield for the Archers, so you can take the 6 off the board. I'll tell you what, not a very happy coach down there on the sideline for the Archers. Roosevelt Norfleet was not happy at all with the explanation that he got from the officials. So now it'll be 2nd down and 10 for the Archers. 4:49 to play here in the third quarter. Hairston still in there at running back. Bobo down to the bottom of your screen. Quantez Book, he'll line up on the right side as well. And Eldridge Wells, he'll be the lone wideout over to the far side of the field. And I'm not sure what this is all about. Now the referee is going to go over and he's going to have a conversation with Snider head coach Kurt Tipman. Now they're going to give him the touchdown? I'm not sure what's going on here. They're going to pick up the flag. And the touchdown will count. Well, this night just got a whole lot more interesting, didn't it? So Davion Drons, touchdown will stand. And Southside officially on the board. So now the Archers will try to tack on the extra point. Right now they're going to go for 2. And Johnson's going to get up under center. Fakes the handoff to Hairston, throws over to the left side, and it's incomplete. So the Snider Panthers give up the first touchdown of the night defensively. And Southside on the board as the Archers now trail it 26-6 with 4:49 to play here in the third quarter. As it's starting to rain just a bit here at Southside. Now, that would mean the weatherman lied to us because they said that wouldn't come in until after the games were over tonight. But you can see the rain starting to fall in the lights. It's ever so light right at the moment, but you see the umbrellas starting to pop out in the stands. And I'm sure for the players, though, on what's been a hot, humid night, that rain starting to fall actually probably feels pretty good. Well, I tell you what, how technology has changed. You know, coaches no longer have to wait until after the game to watch the game film. Snider coaches here in the press box are basically watching replays of what, taking that upstairs? Boy, I remember the days that I played. It was you had to wait till the next day and we still watched the rolling film. Now we're watching replays in the booth. So nonetheless, Southside on the board as the rain is falling ever so light, maybe starting to pick up just a little bit in intensity. And I'm sure to the players who've been out there in this heat and humidity tonight, that probably actually feels pretty good at this point. 4:49 to play here in the third quarter. Snider's lead has been cut to 26-6. as the Archers will get set to boot it away. And it's going to be a squib kick, and it's going to be picked up. This is Lito, and he's going to try to bounce it to the outside, and the freshman still on his feet is going to return it across midfield all the way to the Southside 48-yard line. Well, Lito not very big. Michael Lito, 5'6", 145-pound freshman. So the Panthers now going to get the ball in pretty good field position. As Hopper will bring the offense back out onto the field. Yeah, we just did watch. The officials did get that wrong. We were just watching a replay up here in the booth. Here's Hopper to throw, or a handoff rather. As Covington is going to run it across the 40 up to about, let's see where they're going to spot him down at, all the way up to about the 31-yard line. He did run out of bounds, didn't he? Man, don't you just love technology? He was a good yard or two out of bounds. Light rain continues to fall. 1st and 10 for Snider. Hopper, hands off. Again, it's Covington. Runs behind his blockers, then finds some open space, and he'll get it all the way down to the 15-yard line. That'll be a 16-yard run for Covington. And it's going to set up Snider with another 1st and 10. And looks like maybe we might be starting to see this Snider, this Southside defense get just a little fatigued at this point. A lot of these kids play both ways. And now Southside's going to call a timeout with 4:03 to play here in the third quarter. Snider with a 26-6 lead. As the light rain continues to fall here at Archer Field on Fort Wayne Southside. Along with our cameraman Brad Hauser, I'm Brett Briscoe. You're watching high school football on Summit City Sports. But I do think we're starting to see maybe the Archers get just a little bit tired defensively. We're not seeing them wrap up like they did in the first half. So out of the timeout, it'll be 1st and 10 for Snider at the Southside 14-yard line. Hopper will work out of the shotgun. He's got Covington behind him. Twin wide receivers out to the far side of the field. Here's Hopper. Or again, actually hands off to Covington again. And he's going to be hit and dropped in the backfield. Be a loss of 2. It'll bring up a 2nd down and 12. This time they'll bring twin wide receivers over to the short side of the field. They fake the handoff to Covington. Flags fly. Pass is complete. But the flags are back generally in the area of holding against the offense. They're going to call an illegal shift against Snider, so wipe out the catch from Hippenhammer. And that's going to cost the Panthers 5. I'm sure some of the penalties tonight incurred by Snider, something that Coach Tippmann is going to want to address. Down to 3:25 to play here in the third quarter. 26-6, Snider continues to lead. Panthers on the drive. Here's Hopper. Delayed handoff to Covington. And he's going to get it back across the 20, back down close to the 15-yard line. That'll bring up third down and 11 as we go under the 3-minute mark here in this third quarter. And a hard count by Hopper, and he got the Archers to jump off sides, and that's going to give Snider a third and about 6. So that'll move the ball up to the 10-yard line, and it makes this third down much more manageable now for Snider. And that looked like just a nice hard count from Hopper to draw the Archers off. Now Hippenhammer's checked back into the game. He's going to line up in the slot to the near side. Fullback into the game now as well for Snider. They'll go with Covington, and he's going to drag a couple defenders down close to the 5-yard line. Hairston in on the tackle for Southside. I think the rain's starting to get just a little bit heavier here at Archer Field. Here's Covington again. This time he is going to be stood up and dropped on first down. It was first and goal from the 5. And the clock continues to run down under 2 minutes to play here in the third quarter, as it starts to rain just a tad bit harder. Again with a fullback. Here's the pass over to the left side, and it's incomplete. That time, it was intended for Andrew McCready. First time we've seen Hopper look his way tonight. McCready is in there playing fullback. He lines up ahead of Covington. And the handoff goes to Covington, and the pile driving forward. And it's going to be inside the 2 for sure. Kind of hard to tell where Covington was at in that mess. They'll put it at the 1-yard line. So the clock will continue to run down to 1:10 here in the third quarter. Snider trying to answer that last Southside touchdown. Play clock's down to 15. Snider just now heading to the line of scrimmage. They've got Gordon out to the near side. Hopper gets up under center, and he'll try the quarterback sneak, and a second effort is going to get him into the end zone. Touchdown, Snider. Michael Hopper, or it was Hippenhammer rather. Hippenhammer on the quarterback sneak. And Snider now leads at 32-6. And Boostman, who has been a busy guy tonight, is on to try and tack on the extra point. McGrady again the holder. Snap is good, hold is down, and Boostman will put it right between the uprights. And with 43 seconds to play here in the third quarter, Snider has now extended their lead to 33-6 over the Southside Archers, but South actually moved the football the last time they had it, the best they have the entire game. And they were able to end up with 6 points after the touchdown catch by Davion Drawn. But we did see a replay, and drawn at about the 6 or 7 yard line, did step out of bounds, and that was what the big discussion was about after the officials deemed him to be an illegal receiver downfield. He was the first person to touch it after he came back in bounds, and you can't do that. But after a lengthy discussion, the touchdown stood. But with modern technology, replay proved him different. But hey, that's what we were looking at replay. They were looking at it live. Bobo King back deep to return it again for Southside. As Boostman gets set to kick it away for Snider. It's going to come down to Bobo at about the 2. He's out across the 10, the 20, dodges a tackle, still on his feet, and he's going to be taken down at about the 22-yard line. First time we've seen Bobo really get a chance to try and return one tonight. Seems like everything that Boostman has kicked has went into the end zone. So they'll bring it out to the 22, and that's where the Archers will go 1st and 10 with 33 seconds to play here in the third quarter, and Snider leading 33-6. Hairston in there on running back. We've seen him go most of the way tonight after Thomas Davis took a shot to the head and had to come out of the ball game. So Johnson will work out of the gun. He's got Hairston flanked to his right. Got some time. Comes down the right side. Some hand fighting between Bobo and Taj Starks. Pass falls incomplete. That's been a pretty entertaining matchup to watch all night with Bobo and Starks. So 2nd and 10 now for the Archers. Down to 28 seconds to play here in the third quarter. Again, Johnson will work out of the gun. Takes the snap. Hands off. Hairston tries to bounce it to the outside. Now looks to cut it back upfield. And he's going to be close to the first down. In fact, looks like he's going to have it. So it's been a much more effective offense for Southside here in the second half, as they'll stop the clock long enough to move the chains. But the last drive, although it would be a questionable touchdown, did end in a touchdown for Southside, and they come right back on this drive and pick up a first down on a good run by Hairston. That very well may be the final play we see in the third quarter, and it will be. So Southside again moving the football. They trail 33-6 as we go to the fourth quarter. And I guess, you know, if you're Coach Roosevelt Norfleet, you're at this point looking for anything positive that you can find. And, you know, I think his kids have stuck in there and they've slugged it out all night long with the number 1 ranked team in 5A, the defending 5A state champions. You know, although the score does say 33-6, it's just been a few plays for Snider that have allowed them to build that lead. For the most part, Southside kids, they have hung in there and they put up a fight tonight. And it's tough when you've got as many kids going both ways as the Archers have tonight. I love this time of year where they're giving baseball updates in the press box. Oh, my. Everybody trying to get to October at Major League Baseball. Unfortunately, I'm a Reds fan, and that dream ended about April 15th. So we're ready to go here in this fourth quarter. Southside will look at a first down and 10 from their own 34-yard line. Here's Hairston, takes the handoff, cuts it back to the inside across the 40, and he is going to be dragged down from behind. And that was a pretty hard tackle. By Darius Morgan. But still a nice run from Hairston to pick up 8. And it'll be 2nd down and 6 now for the Archers. They mark it down at their own 42-yard line. Johnson looks over to the sideline. Now he'll get ready with his cadence. He's got Hairston flanked to his left. Twin wide receivers out to the far side of the field. And again, they'll keep it on the ground with Hairston. And he's got another Archer first down as he's across the 45 to about the 46-yard line. Appears that for all intents and purposes, maybe that short, light rain has now stopped. It was ever so light, not even any really remnants of it down on the track. So again, Johnson out of the gun. This time he's going to go deep down the left side, and it's caught, but the receiver was out of bounds, and now a flag comes in, and they're going to call pass interference and say that Eldridge Wells may have been pushed out of bounds. And that's going to be the call. So Snider going to be called for the pass interference. That'll be 15 yards, and it'll give the Archers another first down. So that'll march it into Snider territory. And it'll put it at the 39-yard line. First and 10 for Southside. 10:48 to play, third quarter. They trail it 33-6. Johnson over to the right side for Bobo, and it's incomplete. Pass was a little bit underthrown and was broken up out there by Dominique Slaughter. That'll bring up a 2nd down and 10 now for the Archers. 10:42 to go here in the ball game. Boy, Hairston has done a nice job running the ball here in the second half. They went to the air their last 2 plays. And they will for a third play. Here's Johnson, some time. Left side, throws, incomplete. And they're going to call pass interference again against Snider as they tried to find Eldridge Wells down there. And this time the back judge throws the flag. Still no indication. Yep, there it is. They're going to call holding rather instead of pass interference, but that is still going to allow Snider to move the ball, and they'll put it all the way up to the 29-yard line, and that'll give the Archers a first down. .10:36 to play in the fourth. Archers on the drive. Johnson again out of the gun. He's got Bobo up to the top of your screen. Now he's going to loft it for Bobo down the right side. He's got it. That'll be another Archer first down as Bobo has got it inside the 10-yard line. And that's going to set the Archers up first and goal. They'll mark it at the 7-yard line as Bobo comes up with his second catch of the night. Of course, he come into the game as the leading receiver in the SAC. Johnson takes the snap. Hands off to Hairston, looks to bounce it to the outside, now cuts it back to the inside, dives for the end zone, and he's in. Touchdown, Southside. So Markalen Hairston has his first touchdown of the night, the junior running back. And that makes it a 33-12 game, and he's had some kind of second half here tonight. And now I'm sure we're going to see the Archers go for two once again. A little late running onto the field is Amarian Green for the Archers. And that was just a good hard-nosed run to find his way into the end zone for Markalen Hairston. So now they'll go for two. They fake the handoff to Hairston. They'll throw it over for Bobo, and he goes up and gets it. And I think a flag comes in. Looked like Bobo may have pushed off to go up and grab that, but now they're going to call an illegal receiver downfield, illegal man downfield against Southside, so that'll wipe out the two-point conversion. Regardless of what happens, I think there's going to be a whole lot for Coach Roosevelt Norfleet to be encouraged about with his kids moving forward. So now they'll go again for the two-point conversion. Johnson takes the snap, this time over to the left, and it's incomplete. That was intended for Amarian Green. So the two-point conversion again comes up empty. And with 10:08 to play here in the fourth quarter, it's now 33-12 in favor of the Snider Panthers. But like we were talking about, a lot to be positive about for the Southside Archers tonight, as they have hung in there and fought well against the top-ranked team in 5A. And you've got to consider that coming off playing the number one ranked team in 4A a week ago. I mean, not many teams say they battle top-ranked teams in back-to-back weeks, but that's exactly what the Southside Archers have done the last two Friday nights. And not only two top-ranked teams, two defending state champions. Last week, an 18-point loss to 4A and defending champ Dwenger. And right now, they trail 33-12 to 5A defending champ and number one ranked Snider. Hippenhammer back deep to receive it for Snider. This is a little bit of a different return setup from what we've seen from the Panthers previously tonight. Archers will get ready to boot it away. Of course, we don't have a 29 listed. That's why we haven't had a chance to tell you who that is. Pretty good crowd from Snider has made it over to Archer Field for tonight's game. Pretty good home crowd, too, for Southside. And it's going to be an onside kick, and Snider's going to fall on it as Gordon just covers it up at the 49-yard line of Snider. So really good field position for the Panthers. And I think we're probably getting close to the point in the game where they're just going to be content to run the ball and run the clock. Get on the bus and go home with a win and start getting ready for Homestead next week. Got 5 weeks left, and Snider is looking at Homestead next week. Then they've got Wayne on the road, and then 3 straight home games to wrap it up. 3 pretty good home games with Northrop, Dwenger, and Lours. So they definitely have the meat of their schedule still coming. Here's a handoff, right side Covington, and he is going to churn his way. Or no, it's not Covington as they went to the bench. And that's going to be Anise Lockett with the run. And seeing a little bit of depth at running back for Snider tonight, as Gordon is checked back in on offense. Hippenhammer, who caught that last touchdown pass, is in the slot to the left. It's Anais. Okay. He gets the handoff, and he'll work it over to the left side, and he's going to be dragged down from behind after about a 4-yard pickup. So it is Anais Lockett. Apologize for that. (5'9", 160-pound sophomore running back. 2nd and 7 for Snider. Hopper again will work out of the gun. Looks to throw. Left side down the sideline, and it's incomplete. Intended for Lido. Providing the coverage that time for Southside, Omar Jackson. So that'll bring up a 3rd down and 7 now for the Panthers. Just under 9 minutes to play here in the 4th quarter. Again, Hopper will work out of the gun. Handoff again to Anais Lockett. And he's not going to pick up the 1st down, so we'll see what the Panthers decide to do here with 8:44 to go. Already leading 33-12. Really would just seem like you don't have a whole lot to lose at this point. So Hopper to work out of the gun on 4th down and 4. They fake the handoff. Hopper scrambles out to his left side and throws it incomplete as he tried to hit Bryson Haft. And the Archers will now take over on downs. Who again, Coach Roosevelt Norfleet, he's got to be able to have a lot of positive things to say to his kids after this game and the 2 weeks that they've been through. Southside takes over, trailing 33-12, 8:16 to play here in the ballgame. Johnson again will work out of the gun. Drops to throw and left it short as it was intended for Eldridge Wells. And that'll bring up a 2nd down and 10. Here's a snap. Johnson back to throw. Tries to dump it off, and it's for Hairston, but it hits the ground, and that'll be an incomplete pass, and it'll bring up a 3rd down and 10. Starting to have the finals roll in from other games around the SAC tonight. Johnson again will work out of the gun. It's 2nd and 10. Rolls out to his right, trying to buy himself some time. Now jump pass down the field, and it's caught. Intercepted, rather. Snider is going to run it back, and coming up with the interception is Janelle Hogue. And Janelle Hogue is going to give Snider the ball back at the Southside 41-yard line after the interception. And now we've got a flag, though, back where Johnson let go of the ball. I would almost think that's going to be holding against Southside, but we'll have to wait and see. That is going to be holding against Southside, so that'll be declined. And Snider is going to take over after the interception by John L. Hogue. Under 8 minutes to play here on this Friday night. And again, the rain starting to fall ever so lightly here at Archer Field. So some new players in the lineup now for both teams. Lito, the receiver, out to the near side. Hippenhammer lines up over on the far side of the field. They'll keep it on the ground. And again, this is Anais Lockett. So that'll get it down to close to the 32-yard line. A 9-yard pickup for Lockett, and it'll be 2nd down and 1 now for Snider. From under center, Hopper will hand off again. And again, it's Lockett, and he's across the 30, up to about the 24-yard line. Or check, 26-yard line. They'll officially mark it at the 27. Clock continues to run as we've got a backup quarterback in the game now for Snider. Brandon Young, 6'1" sophomore. Trying to run the offense, and his first possession turns the ball over as the fumble is recovered by Southside. So a lot of young guys look like going to get some playing time here in the final minutes for Snider. And Brandon Young, the sophomore quarterback, comes in, and a rough first snap for him tonight as the rain really starting to come down here at Snider now, or at Southside. It has turned into a downpour. And people running, I mean literally running for the exits now. .6:54 to play, and we may be playing the final few minutes of this one in some wet conditions. Here's Johnson to throw. Dumps it off. It's complete to Hairston. And Hairston is going to turn the screen pass into a couple-yard gain. It is really coming down now. We'll see how this affects that passing game for Southside. Down to 6:16 to play here in the fourth quarter. 2nd down and 7 for the Archers. Johnson will work out of the gun. Handoff. Left side, and it's Hairston again. And he's going to get to about the 30, and that'll bring up a 3rd down now for Southside. In fact, it'll be 3rd down and 7, officially no gain. Nice steady rain. It was predicted, but it was thought for the most part that maybe we would get through tonight before we saw the rain, but that's turned out not to be the case. 3rd down and 7. Here's Johnson to throw over to the right side, and it's incomplete. And that was really close to being intercepted again by John L. Hogue. So that'll make it 4th down and 7 now for Southside. Clock stopped with 5:16 to play. And as fast as the rain really picked up, it's slowing to a near stop. Now 4th down and 7 coming up for the Archers. As he has all night, Dennis Johnson will work out of the shotgun, takes the snap, throws over the middle, and it's complete. across the 45 to about the 46-yard line, and that's A.J. King on the catch. And that'll be an Archer first down. That was a nice pitch and catch from Dennis Johnson to A.J. King. Johnson again will work out of the gun as the rain again starts to fall a little heavier. Takes the low snap, throws over the right side. Again, it's complete. And that's complete to Amari Green. And that'll be just shy of a first down for Southside. It'll bring up second down and a short one. Johnson again will work out of the gun with 4:30 to go. Drops to throw. Goes deep down the left side for Bobo, and it's tipped away at the very last minute. And trying to get a number on that. I believe it was Travaris Brown that knocked it away, and it is really cutting loose rain now. .413 and counting here in the fourth quarter as the rain is really coming down. Here's Johnson, takes the snap. Now he's going to try to tuck it and run, but that Snider defense not going to have any of that as he's going to be swarmed under for a loss of about 2. And that'll bring up a fourth down now for Southside, 4th and 3 at the 45. Or really, they need to get to the 45 to pick up the first down. They'll spot it about the 47. .326 to play in the ball game. Johnson takes the snap, throws it over to the left side, and it's in and out of the hands of Eldridge Wells. Boy, he had a chance to maybe pull that one in and turn it upfield to pick up some extra yardage. And you got to think maybe the rain had a little something to do with that as it is coming down in buckets right at the moment. So that'll turn it over on downs. It'll be Snider football. With 3:16 to go here in the fourth quarter. And the handoff is going to come right side and all the way up to the 30-yard line. That was Anias Lockett again with a big run. And again, the new quarterback is Brandon Young, 6'1", 170-pound sophomore. Down to 3 minutes and counting here on this Friday night that is going to end up a wet Friday night here at Archer Field. We played the last 6 or 7 minutes in a pretty steady rain. And just as they get ready to snap it, Southside's going to call a timeout. So still a coaching moment for Coach Roosevelt Norfleet and the Southside Archers. Of course, you're trying to build and build and build for the future. And you got to kind of embrace every teaching opportunity that you get, especially when you're starting to play some young kids. They are the future of your program. As you see the rain, how it is just coming down. But it hasn't affected the cheerleaders' spirit any, boy. See the Snider cheerleaders on the far side all covered in their ponchos. Southside cheerleaders, they're just in the rain. And we're ready to play football again. Brandon Young, the quarterback. He's got Lockett behind him. And Lockett's going to get the handoff again, and he is going to be stopped. And eventually the whistles will blow as Lockett gets back to the 30-yard line. They'll run it over to the left side. Again, it's Lockett. And I think with the weather now, you're just content to get out of here, I think. As it is just continuing to come down in buckets. Third down and 9 for Snider. Again, it's Lockett who's got a lot of touches here this fourth quarter. And he's going to get it inside the 25 down to about the 22-yard line. And we're down to a minute and a half to go. Young out of the shotgun. Again, the handoff to Lockett. And he'll run it left side. And he appears to have enough for a Snider first down. That'll move the sticks, and that should just about be it. They'll move the sticks, wind the clock, and we're down to a minute to go. And Snider's going to go to the victory formation. Couple of knees, and this one will be all over. Water standing on the track now and starting to see some water puddling up on the field as it has been a steady, steady rain over the last half of this fourth quarter. Final 34 seconds coming up. Snider, they are going to improve to 4-0 with a big showdown with Homestead coming up next week at home. Homestead went into tonight 3-0 in Class 6A and ranked number 14. Meanwhile, Southside will be right back here at Archer Stadium next Friday night as Young will take another knee, and that's going to do it. The Archers will be here at home to entertain the Wayne Generals coming up next Friday night. That's going to do it for a wet, wet night of football here at Archer Field. Snider scored early and often, and the number 1 ranked Panthers in Class 5A, they hang on. And they knock off the Southside Archers by a final score of 33-12. For our cameraman, Brad Hauser, I'm Brett Briscoe. Thank you for tuning in to another high school broadcast on Summit City Sports.